If you have blemishes, uneven skin tone, or textured skin, or if a foundation often looks cakey, patchy, emphasizes wrinkles, and makes the skin look dry and flat, or if you love foundation but still want your skin to look like real skin, this video is for you. Today I'll show you how to wear foundation and still look natural, fresh, and glowy, plus a very fast and elegant eye makeup. I'll also share a few tips and tricks on how to achieve this elegant look. And look at this before and after, our favorite part. Many of us skip skin prep, and it's a huge mistake. The foundation just sticks to facial hair and dry areas and starts to look patchy. The other mistake is applying too much skincare. It doesn't absorb properly, it creates a heavy layer and the foundation can start creasing, dragging, and peeling. If you don't know how to stop at the right moment or how to choose the right moisture level for your foundation, just use a glowing primer. Usually it's very lightweight and doesn't fight with different foundation formulas. Look at my hand. I'll apply it only on one side to immediately show you the result of the product. It fills in small dry lines, and after this step, your foundation will melt into the skin like butter. You'll even need less product than you usually use without this step. Look at this glow. I apply it the same way I applied the moisturizer, with my hands. The second important thing is look at the textures, look at the base. Nourishing creams are usually very heavy, very moisturizing, and often oily based. They can fight with the water-based serums or lightweight foundations. So try to keep the same base, water-based skincare with the water-based foundations. Again, if you want to skip this hesitation, just use a hydrating face primer. It works well with almost any foundation. See this glow with the pearlescent finish? It means it will do double work. It gives a radiant finish and creates the illusion of smoother skin just because of the pink and bluish light reflecting particles. And only then we can dive into the makeup. The next mistake is pumping foundation directly onto the face. Not just once, sometimes 2, 3, even 4 pumps. And only on one side of the face. The packaging gets dirty, everything looks messy, and it's actually a lot of product. And usually we are in a rush, I know, but please don't use a dirty foundation brush from the previous makeup. It's unhygienic, and the bristles stick together, they leave strokes, the brush becomes overloaded, and can't spread the product evenly and professionally. Okay, I know, this is too much, let's remove it. And you won't see any oil marks on the paper towel here. Looks nice. And another mistake is pumping foundation directly onto the cheek, like I showed before, and then using a dry sponge like this and stretching the skin. Oh my god, huge no. What else? Oh yes, pumping foundation onto the sponge and then going over one side of the face with the chaotic motions. Tapping, stretching, tapping. Oh, this is all about the wrong approach. Now let's remove it, apply the hydrating base again, and do the right steps. Using lightweight, skin-friendly products, layering them very thinly, and starting with the right color. So I know you're paying foundations that look too orange or too ashy, I know. So as an example, I prepared 5 foundations here. We call them tones, from light to deep. They all have different shades, which we call undertones: olive, neutral, warm, and cool. For today's makeup, I choose a radiant finish with the small light reflecting particles that create a photoshopped effect on the skin. I'm choosing the 2 shades that are closest to my skin. Let's see which one matches my undertone better. So the first one I apply to the cheek and blend with my finger. This is very good, look almost the same as my skin, right? See? I don't see a huge difference from my real skin tone and undertone of this foundation. The other shade I apply to the chin. This one has an olive undertone, a bit greenish. It also looks good. So how do you choose? Look at yourself in the mirror from a distance. Check the neck and other visible parts of the body. My arms are more olive, but my face is more neutral. Sometimes a pink tone in the skin can make you feel like you need a pink foundation, but that's not always correct. Rosacea or sensitive skin can make the skin look more pink than it actually is. Check your skin when it's calm without irritation. Let's try them again, side by side, and the olive one and the first one, I love them both, but I apply them quite thick so you can clearly see the difference in the undertones. So the olive one works better with the overall tone of my body, while the first one is great if I wear a closed outfit. But to be honest, this type of lightweight foundation is a great solution even if you accidentally buy the wrong undertone online, because the layer is so thin, it won't completely change the color of your face. And the sponge should be wet and very smooth like I'm showing here. Also, look at this unusual curved shape. It's perfect for prominent cheekbones and the jawline. Apply the foundation to the back of your hand. 2 pumps are more than enough for the whole face. Warm it up with your fingertips, and this step is important. And look at this texture. It's quite watery, very easy to apply, and apply foundation only where you actually need it, a small amount in the center of the face. I'm not applying foundation everywhere first. I'm starting only where I need coverage, usually around the nose, cheeks, chin, and a little on the forehead. Blend outward into the skin. The goal is coverage in the center and almost no visible product on the outer parts of the face. That's what keeps it looking like real skin. Press it many times, like you see here. Start from the areas where you have the most product and move outward toward the hairline, where there should be almost nothing left. Look at this glowy, beautiful finish, not greasy. Just radiant and fresh. Love it. And honestly, I would stop right here. You know my preferences. And once I leave the skin alone, it will calm down and the redness will disappear. You saw that in my maybe previous video. But I noticed a few comments asking for a bit more coverage, so let's do it today. Build the second layer only where needed. I mean, I did a tiny second layer only around redness or uneven areas. Instead of one heavy layer, I always prefer small target layers. Use the remainder of the product, not a full extra pump. That's actually just wasting the product. So don't forget to blend the foundation under the jawline. Don't stop right here, otherwise you will see a visible line when you turn your head. For this step, use the curved side of the sponge. It's very easy. Grab a little of the leftover foundation from the back of your hand and press it gently along the jawline. Okay. And the last layer, the third one, this is more for special occasion, photo shoots or selfies, some special days, you know. So third layer, okay, and let's see the close-up. In the shadow and under the sunlight. It looks incredibly beautiful, even if you don't know how to stop at the right moment and layering gets a little out of control. I know, it's hard. This foundation is on your side. So also, I'm going to use a darker, warmer shade with an olive undertone as a bronzer. Just a lightweight layer. The same thing applied to the back of your hand, warm it up, press the sponge into the foundation and find the line where your teeth meet. So that's usually where your cheekbone sits. Stamp the foundation onto the cheekbone and blend with the tapping motions. First, I apply it with the flat part of the sponge, and then I turn it to the rounded side to soften the edges and calm down the shade so it looks more natural. Like a shadow from the cheekbone, not like a product sitting on the top of the skin. And I also have a bit of bone structure here on the temple, so I apply a little there as well. If you don't have that structure, you can skip this step. When you layer the same product in the different shades, it usually works much more natural than switching to a completely different product with a different texture and pigmentation, right? So you already know how this foundation behaves, how it blends and how much pressure to use. So you can simply continue working with this, just use the darker shade. And you can also mix these shades throughout the year to adapt from summer tanned skin to lighter winter skin tone. That's it, blush. Don't press it directly onto the cheeks like I'm showing here. That will melt the foundation underneath. Instead, apply it to the back of your hand, mix it with a little of the darker foundation shade, just to adapt the color to the face. I love this balmy texture so much. Cream blush really brings life back into the face. Again, use the sponge and focus on a lifting technique. Apply it a bit higher and closer to the perimeter of the face. Look at this common mistake. The working surface of the sponge is bigger than a blush brush. So just turn your wrist and lay the sponge horizontally, like I'm showing here. Stamp the pigment onto the cheek and then transfer a bit to the other side. And then only blend. This texture is very flexible, so you have plenty of time to blend. Don't rush. It's especially good if you are a beginner and still learning how to work with the cream textures. Powder. This one is great for blurring texture and pores. And also, I have an oily T-zone, so it holds everything in place throughout the day. It's important for me. Also important not to powder the whole face. I'm only setting the areas that I really need it, usually around the nose, under the eyes, and maybe the center of the forehead, and leave the cheeks more natural and glowy. So I apply it only to the T-zone. And this is how I usually do thin layer makeup for my skin type. And let's add lipstick. I'll use a glowy lipstick as well to balance the glowing skin. And the shade is very fresh for spring. Berry tones are also great for layering. One layer is just a soft touch. 2 layers look more defined, and 3 layers are perfect for special occasions. And it's a very calm shade, not a hot pink or hot red. And look at my skin while I finish the lips. Look at that glow. At the end of the makeup, everything starts to settle. You just have to give your foundation a little time. Sometimes it takes about 10 minutes, and after that you can really decide wow or not. I already love how my skin looks in the mirror reflection, even before setting it completely. That's always a good sign. Coming back to the eyes. I apply a little powder just above the foundation, on the mobile lid to set it, to avoid creasing, fill in lines, and smooth the texture. For this type of the makeup, I love keeping the rest very subtle. Just a small dark chocolate eyeliner to define the eyes and maybe a little bit of mascara. So this gel formula is amazing. It never transfers and never smudges, even on my hooded eyes. By the way, I'll make the next video all about the eye makeup, so let me know in the comments what you struggle with the most. And I also add a little mascara to make the lashes more fluffy, longer, and darker. It creates a soft gradient from the darker lashes to the brown liner. Blink several times into the curved wand to leave the lashes roots. And brush the brows and fill in a few spare areas, and that's it. That way the skin stays the focus. This is how the skin looks up close. You can still see real skin, but everything looks more even, fresh, and healthy. You don't need perfectly invisible makeup. You just want it to look soft and believable, right? So if you want, next I can show you my eye makeup for oily hooded lids that especially eat makeup after 2 hours. So how to do it correctly, how to open up the eyes and make them look bigger. Let me know in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. See you very soon. Bye!